Hi, everyone. My name is Edie Summers, and welcome to 7 Steps to Reboot from Chronic Fatigue and Burnout. I'm so happy to have you here today. I won't take too much of your time. I just want to share some of my best and top tips for improving your energy levels and reclaiming your energy. So, this is called Burned Out to Breakthrough: How to Reclaim Your Energy and Harness Your Well-Being. So, I want to ask you, are you feeling burned out or exhausted? Maybe you're having trouble staying focused at or performing at work, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you've lost interest in doing your very best, even though that's normally what you would do, or maybe you've lost your motivation. Maybe you have trouble giving permission to put yourself first. And just so you know, burnout is generally associated with too much work. It's you generally work related. However, I'm also talking about if you're feeling exhausted, or maybe you're having trouble having boundaries around improving your energy levels because you have a job or a partner or kids, and maybe you feel guilty or ashamed for putting yourself first or for not being fully there for your kids, job, or partner. So, or maybe you're a sensitive person and you burn out easily. That's definitely me. And I've also burned out from, of course, working too much. You are in the right place if any of those descriptions sound like you today. And I just want to say that if you have CFS, most likely this is not the right place for you. I do work with people with CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome. However, I would say only if you're super, super high functioning and maybe already working, then this might be the right place for you. Otherwise, feel free to join us on Chronic Fatigue Support or Chronic Fatigue Coach on Facebook. So I just want to encourage you to slow down and tune in and close Facebook and any windows and emails so you can be fully present today. And again, I won't take up too much of your time today. I also encourage you to stay tuned. There's a free gift for listening. So is this you? Are you running on empty? Do you feel sleep deprived? Do you feel bottomed out? Do you feel pulled in too many directions? Or maybe you're exhausted or moody or feeling wiped out. How would it feel to feel better? What might change if you did? You might have more energy, you might feel more hopeful or feel more positive. You might feel better or have less symptoms. Other doors in life or avenues might open up. You might meet new people or get more support, or learn new skills for managing stress. I find that's a really big one. Or learn how to practice more self care, which is also really, really important for helping to improve burnout symptoms. Or maybe learn to live from a positive mindset in order to live well. And what would your life be like? Maybe you would do better at work and feel better overall, or have more energy for yourself and loved ones. Start seeing results that last. It's really important. This is definitely not a quick fix, these suggestions that I'm offering to you today. You also might feel better physically or mentally or emotionally or all three. Have more positive energy and less stress. Feel more connected to yourself, others, and the world and universe. This is also how yoga works, by the way. Maybe you have more energy and motivation to achieve your goals and dreams. So these are the 7 tips that we're going to be covering today: self-care, and also learning to practice and enforce boundaries, permission to slow down and put yourself first, symptoms as your guides to well-being, being aware of genetic vulnerabilities, and if you have CFS, this is something that might be of importance to you, but also, I think that genetic vulnerabilities can play a role for a lot of people. Also, cultivating mindfulness and resiliency. Mindfulness is a huge help for me. It's one of the main things that help me to recover my well-being and energy. And also cultivating positive stress and building neuroplasticity, which can make you strong. So here are 3 steps to get you started. And we'll be covering those in a second. First of all, who am I? I'm a published author. I have 3 books out. I'm also a public speaker. I have master's level training in health psychology. I was also trained as a wellness coach by Well Coaches. They're the premier certifying body for wellness coaching in the world. I describe myself as having positive recovery from ME and CFS. I have to stay on top of it to stay well. I'm also a former executive. I was an executive for a health, fitness, and wellness tech startup. I'm a certified yoga instructor. I teach yoga locally here in Portland, Oregon. And one of my main goals is to empower you to be well so that you can reach your full potential. So this is me at one point in time where I was not feeling very well. You can see a lot of inflammation in my face. And I was just exhausted. And this was not too long after going through an incredibly stressful divorce. I was involved in a situation that had domestic violence in it. And so I was experiencing the effects of trauma, which can definitely impact your nervous system and sometimes can most definitely contribute to CFS and I would say symptoms along the lines of fatigue. And this is myself when I was an executive for Smash On. I really like that logo of creating each day anew and even each moment anew. And the idea of not letting your symptoms define you and your life circumstances define you, but how can you rise above and be resilient and transform? This is a book that I wrote. It took me 10 years to write. It's called The Memory of Health. And I cover all different theories of chronic fatigue and CFS as well. And also I talk about nutrition and self-care and resiliency. There's a lot of research in it, including a lot of links, especially in the PDF version, a lot of clickable links. Again, it took me 10 years to write this, and I wanted to help people, including myself, who are dealing with chronic fatigue for whatever reason. This is another book I wrote on break from grad school. It's called Self Coach Your Way to More Energy. And it talks about cultivating the relaxation response, which is the opposite of the stress response. And it helps you to definitely improve energy levels and cultivate well-being in your body. And I just want to say that if I can change, so can you. I think it's possible for anyone to change. And that you definitely have the power. So never believe that power is outside of you. It's always within you, and it's always within your reach to change at any point in time. And what I have found that it's just that being consistent, cultivating practices and self-care practices that you do consistently. This is what makes the difference. So let's go over the 7 tips to harness your energy. Number 1 is self-care. We're going to be breaking all of these down. Number 1 is self-care. Really, really important. This really helps with burnout. You want to, first of all, not only take care of yourself, but you want to avoid irritants and too much stimuli. So irritants are anything that's going to irritate your body. This actually creates inflammation in your body, or it can create inflammation in your body. And inflammation is a source of fatigue. Also, I have found that focusing on deep nutrition, and you have to figure out what works for your body. And also small amounts of positive stimuli can help you keep in balance. And this is also a really great tip for anyone with CFS. And I discuss this topic deeper in my book. But practicing self-care is crucial for recovering from burnout. So it's about carving out time for yourself. You have to think of self-care as like brushing your teeth. It's something that you're going to do on a regular basis. It's as important as sleeping and brushing your teeth and eating. Number 2 is boundaries. What I learned is that having really strong boundaries, and it's usually something you want to set up front with people, this can make a huge difference in terms of your energy levels. So again, it's just something that I've learned. So much about self-care is about boundaries and priorities, and also believing in your own self-worth so that you start taking care of yourself on a regular basis. And this definitely applies at work as well. You have to really carve out time for yourself. There's a lot that you can do at work, and I do have a group coaching course, a VIP group coaching course, and we go over a lot of these tactics in detail. How can you better manage your energy and cultivate more energy and manage stress? How can you manage difficult coworkers? How can you carve out that time for yourself and also enforce boundaries in order to maintain your energy and keep that positive energy? So also permission to slow down and put yourself first. So much about putting yourself first is sometimes we need the permission to do it, especially if we have families, or maybe you're a caregiver or the breadwinner. Giving yourself that permission to slow down and put yourself first is super, super important. It's going to make a difference in your self-care and in your burnout symptoms. Also, this might also apply to people with CFS, but also if you're feeling low energy, use your symptoms as your guides to well-being. So this also ties into mindfulness. What I learned to do is when I first started experiencing low energy after I had a ski accident in my early 20s, I was kind of, first of all, going really fast in my life, and I had to learn to slow down and use mindfulness to listen to what my body was asking me to do in order to be well. So I really believe that symptoms are signals that your body's sending you. Your body's trying to talk to you through its symptoms. So when you can learn to slow down and then make different choices based on what your body needs in the moment, I find that incredibly powerful. Also, genetic vulnerabilities can play a role in energy and fatigue. If you're a highly sensitive person, you might have a hyper-responsive amygdala. There's also the MTHFR gene that can produce lower glutathione levels. And a lot of people that have chronic conditions, about 40% of people have this gene, and it can definitely contribute to chronic conditions, including CFS. There's also the methylation tree and common autoimmune tree. So they say that common autoimmune tree is associated with chronic fatigue, but I also find that there are a lot of people that are poor methylators and are developing chronic fatigue because they're not methylating properly. So again, these are issues that these are topics that I go into my book, The Memory of Health. You might have another genetic vulnerability that might be influencing you. So it's really important to get tested. I think it can make a huge difference. Knowledge is power. And also, illness can also be the result of a combination of genetic vulnerabilities and epigenetics. And epigenetics means going above and beyond your genetic potential. So, meaning things that you have control over, like diet and stress and sleep and community environment, things like that. So, know your vulnerabilities. However, focus on your strengths and epigenetic factors. This is what made a difference for me. And also mindfulness, as I was mentioning, is really, really important. Mindfulness, again, is probably the most powerful tool I discovered. And it can really help with stress and anxiety as well. But I really found it helpful in terms of health issues and energy issues. So again, allow yourself to slow down and listen to what your body is saying to you. Use mindfulness as a way to pay deeply attention to your body and your symptoms and then make adjustments based on that. You can start practicing self-care more. And positive energy and resiliency, we can choose to focus on joy and feeling good. And I really believe that well-being is subtle amounts of positive stress that keep your mind, body, and heart in motion. So now, again, these are just some of a few tips. I'm really hoping that they help you. I really believe that responding positively to stress builds neuroplasticity. So if you find yourself getting super, super stressed out, and burnout is often a result of doing too much and sort of having just too much stress, and you're losing your motivation at work, and maybe you're a high performer, but all of a sudden you find yourself just unmotivated. Part of how we can change is definitely practicing self-care more. Put yourself first, put into practices and put into motion those self-care practices that are going to really help you. But then also learning to respond positively to stress not only builds a stronger brain, builds neuroplasticity, but also can cultivate eustress. So it can actually help you sort of reinterpret stressors. So again, as I mentioned, there are 3 steps to get you started. So you might hear yoga a lot, but it actually really is incredibly powerful. It unites mind, body, and spirit. It can help your body relax. It can help your body cultivate the relaxation response. A lot of corporate programs have yoga in their programs. I offer free yoga on YouTube. You can also find it there. If you just type in Edie Summers, you can find some yoga on there from me. It is part of my coaching program as well. I find yoga incredibly powerful to regain balance. It either keeps you in balance or it helps you get back in balance. Super, super powerful. And also mindfulness and conscious breathing. So again, I cannot emphasize mindfulness enough. It allows you to slow down and tune in and listen to what your body's saying to you. Conscious breathing can also help cultivate the relaxation response in your body. So again, these are other incredibly powerful tools. And also the power of community. We're social beings, and humans are social beings. And this is actually one of the reasons that our species has survived is because we're so connected socially, and we thrive when we're connected with one another. And we're becoming more and more disconnected. And I really think that when you feel overwhelmed, if you feel overwhelmed at work or at home or in life in general, and you don't have that support system, this is actually, I think, the most important step is to find that community first. Find community because it's going to help you feel better. It's going to help you be stronger, more resilient. It'll help ease some of your symptoms if you know you have that support. And it's also physical touch and connection, there's so many powerful elements. It's finding people to practice self-care with and working out with, do yoga with, etc. So I'm just gonna cruise through these. These are a few testimonials that I threw in here, but I'll just cruise through these. I just want to ask you, where do you think you'll be in 1 year? I know it can be scary to change and to even try to figure out where do I start, but change, really does start from if you can find a reason to change. And, maybe it's asking yourself, well, where you'll be in 1 year, or maybe it's asking yourself, sometimes we have to hit rock bottom in order to change, but sometimes we can do it for other reasons. Maybe you just don't want to feel like you feel anymore. Where will you be in 1 year? Will you be feeling the same, or maybe hopefully you'll be feeling differently? Um, yeah, will you have more energy, or will you still be feeling burned out? Hopefully you'll have more energy. And again, I'm offering this free webinar as a way to give you some really basic tips on how to cultivate more energy. I encourage you to give yourself permission to heal, change, and grow. We can always grow, we can always change, we can always heal. We have so much potential, and it's just about reaching that potential, and it's all inside of you. And also give yourself permission to put yourself first, just a reminder. And you are worth it. You are absolutely worth it. This is something I had to really struggle with and sort of come to terms with. And, when I developed chronic fatigue, I had to learn to take better care of myself. And I had to get in touch with the fact that I was worth feeling good and worth taking care of. And maybe you struggle with that too. And again, connection is absolutely key. There's a new study from Harvard, relatively new study, that found that one of the most negative things that impacts health is loneliness. It actually suppresses the immune system. So I encourage you to take action, whether it's taking more action based on this webinar or seeking community or starting to practice more self-care, listening to your body, give yourself permission to put yourself first. Also, never ever give up on yourself. This is one of the last things my dad said to me. He actually borrowed this quote from Winston Churchill. But never ever give up on yourself. My dad added on to that quote that too many people lose the light from their eyes, and it's true. And I just hope that you stay in touch with yourself, stay connected to yourself. Yoga is really good for that. Self-care is really good for that. Mindfulness is really good for that. Never give up. And focus on feeling good. And you can do this. It's absolutely possible to change your life and to move from feeling burned out to having that breakthrough and finding transformation. It's actually an opportunity. Wherever you are, you can change and heal and grow. It's an opportunity. And again, I believe that your next best step is community. Find support to help you as you change through your journey here. Find support. I encourage you to book a free call with us if you're interested in if you need more support. You can actually set up a free call to learn more about how you can improve your energy levels. You can write to us here at support@portlandwellnesscoach.com and also find out how you can access free coaching. So again, you can write to us at support@portlandwellnesscoach.com. And here's your free gift for listening. It's a PDF of my book, Self-Coach Your Way to More Energy. Again, I talk about the relaxation response in this book and how to cultivate it. You can type in this address, http:// is portlandwellnesscoach.com/free book. And I want to thank you for listening today. I really encourage you to listen to your body, slow down, tune in, and take better care of yourself. And if you want to find out about how you can get that free coaching and also learn how you can get more support, go ahead and contact us at support@portlandwellnesscoach.com. And remember, I'm going to just flip back here. Remember, I also wrote a whole book on this subject. It's called The Memory of Health. And again, it took me 10 years to write. You can find my book on Amazon. Again, it's called The Memory of Health. And I actually changed the subtitle. The subtitle is now called A Journey to Wellbeing because everyone has a different journey to well-being, and yours is going to be different than mine. Usually it almost always includes self-care of some type, but everyone has a different journey. And whether you're feeling burned out or exhausted, or maybe you have CFS or somewhere in between, or maybe it's a combination of all three. I cover all of these subjects in my book. And I really hope that you find your way back to your sense of well-being in your life. And again, I want to thank you for listening today. And if you have any questions or if you need more support, you can book a free call with us, support@portlandwellnesscoach.com. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.